Still live on JoyNews desk. Let's now speak to the Sanitation and Water Resources Minister, Cecilia Abna-Dapa. She joins us live from her office. Good morning. Great to have you on News Desk. Now, these issues are just pervasive. Every area of the country seems to be battling the menace. What, in your view, Ms. Dapa, are we not doing right?
Good morning, and I'd like to say good morning to the cherished viewers and listeners as well. What we are having around has been around for quite some time. But thank God, we are all engaged in pursuit of a challenging vision of ridding the country of insanitary conditions, as well as to see Ghana, and most importantly, our capitals, the number one being Accra, being the cleanest. And it takes the whole lot of all of us to make sure we achieve this. But primarily, we are the monitors, I'll say the inspectors, to make sure that on the ground, things are done properly. I have listened into the reports that you did. This is not peculiar to one particular area. We have pockets of them, as you said, all around. Government is doing everything that it can with the limited resources that we have to make sure that we collaborate and partner with institutions like multimedia through JoyNews, Joy FM, to make sure we get to the bottom of this and find local solutions to these local problems. Fortunately for us, I believe in the Ghanaian, and I believe that when we all make up our minds to shun insanitary conditions, we can do it. And why am I saying that? We start from our bodies to make sure personal hygiene is practiced. We practice hygiene in our homes. And when we say sanitation, what do we mean? I'm happy that Daniel got it right. At first, he said Minister for Sanitation, then corrected to say Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. They go together. This is what we call WASH, water and sanitation and hygiene. These are the three pillars. They are very, very, very important for the well-being of the human being. And we carry this out outside our homes into the environment to make sure we do not profit at the expense of our fellow Ghanaians. I listened into one of the stories where the liquid waste churned out from a commercial public toilet exits into a drain. Highly unacceptable. I will use this at this juncture, to use this opportunity to appeal to all of us to act as whistleblowers. That is why His Excellency, in his vision of getting Accra cleanest, and making sure Ghana is clean, called on us at his inauguration that we should not be passive citizens, but active citizens in this country. We have a proverb in Twi that says, Obi bebo ama wasua and tise wasun usun. To wait. If you have to cry, cry your cry. Don't wait for somebody to beat you before you cry. We are not in a police state. So I'm humbly appealing to our conscience that we need to have behavioral change, attitudinal change. We abhor traditionally filth and death. And I don't think we should sit idle whilst some of us, maybe a few of us, perpetually do bad things to thwart our efforts in our sanitation war. It is a war, I should say, because it's been lingering for a long time. And now I must, at this juncture, also commend JoyNews, Joy FM, for their untiring efforts in partnering all institutions, I'll say, to bring sanity into the environmental system. In this war, or in this fight, we partner also the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, as well as the Ministry of Works and Housing, as well as the Ministry of Roads, the Ministry of Tourism. As for finance, we appeal to them to give more money into the sector. That is why I'm particularly elated that in Ho at the Mole Conference, His Excellency the Vice President announced, it's a promise we made in our manifesto, to have the National Sanitation Authority. Because in this ministry, we have pillars for the water sector. We have the Ghana Water Company Limited that handles urban water. We have Community Water and Sanitation Agency that handles rural water and peri-urban water. And then we have the regulators of our water resources systems, Water Resources Commission. Then we have only a directorate for the sanitation sector. So I'm very, very happy. And this government will see to it that the National Sanitation Authority comes into being to make sure we handle the management of solid waste, liquid waste, and all our sewage problems under this authority.
How soon are we to expect that the National Sanitation Authority is
to make sure
going to be set up, ma'am? Right, sorry.
Come again, please, Daniel.
I was asking, how soon should we expect the National Sanitation Authority to be set up? We know the announcement was made in November 2017.
The draft is, I know, but the draft is ready. We need to do more consultative meetings, broad forum to include all the NGOs as well. We need to spruce it up. It won't take too long. It will not take too long, I promise you. I'll give you the roadmap as soon as I get it through. I'll bring it out because it's very, very essential. We have the Institution of Engineers, Architects, Planners. Everybody will be brought on board. And my collaborative ministries, my colleagues will also have an input. In fact, we've written to them already to give us the current inputs that they want into this. After that, we'll have a huge public forum. All of you will be invited to have a bite and contribute, because it's essentially very, 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 very essential to the fight against insanitary conditions. Like I said, if we have to do some work, meaning if we've been contracted to handle solid waste, like bigger muscled companies like Zoom Lion, Jekora, and other ESPA members are doing. You know, there are also smaller ones. We appeal to them that they should all assiduously work hard to make sure the management of the waste is done. The sweeping of our streets, the collection of the waste after sweeping, the transfer of the waste to the transfer stations, and finally to our landfill sites. That is the route for solid waste. I must commend Zoom Lion, Jekora, and all of them for the work they've done so far. And I will equally say that there's a lot that we need to do to make sure we have the optimum services from these service providers. I will not leave out our responsibility as a government to make sure the payments are regular and up to date. We are trying to do that. Now we come to the liquid waste. This features strongly in the report that I listened to. How on earth can someone operate a commercial facility and dumps liquid waste into our drains? Clearly, this person is a saboteur. For all you know, he's not even paying taxes. Even permits to operate might not be there. And these are all to be checked by the district assemblies and the municipal assemblies. Fortunately for us in Ghana, every inch of the country is covered by an assembly. And they have all the powers to prosecute those who flout our bylaws. Fortunately for us, for our information, His Excellency the President has also commissioned us, instructed us to consolidate all the bylaws and even go further to translate them into our various languages so that the assemblies can work effectively with them. We have the schools of hygiene under this ministry that churns out environmental officers. Every assembly has them.
Okay.
And we have sanitation guards put in place to make sure people are brought to book. But I will also appeal that the 30 million Ghanaians that we are, we need more people, and this is the job of all of us to make sure we fill in the gap. We should act as whistleblowers. Very soon we'll have a call center that people can call in, we'll put it out. We have also asked the municipalities to have call centers, because when we are asleep, we have nocturnal, evil practitioners of their game who dump waste at solid waste at places, and there are people who also do I jokingly call them night shifts, who go in and defecate around. We will not allow that. Governments and the World Bank have come together to have this Gamma project that is producing 1,200 household toilets a month. I appeal to all homeowners and house owners, landlords, and all of us who do not have toilets in their homes to register. They've been doing sensitization around, and it's very popular. I must say, they've done and worked very, very well. And it's a flagship project of the World Bank and this ministry. We also have GASLIP, funded by the African Development Bank. They are also churning out 5,000 toilets in homes. We just went through the procurement process, and very soon the contracts will be awarded. We are doing all this as a government to partner these institutions to make sure we eradicate open defecation. There are homes which have faulty toilets. They should fix them. These are private homes I'm appealing to. When they get, it is the responsibility of the homeowner to make sure the systems are fixed. Maintenance culture. Maintenance culture. We should be able to sleep in our toilet rooms. We should be able to eat in our toilet rooms. If we cannot, it's a failure on our part. We can go around officially to inspect. The environmental officers, the sanitation directors here, the directorate.
Right, Cecilia Abna-Dapaah is Minister for Sanitation, and we had a slight challenge with the connection there. We are re-establishing that very quickly. Madam Abna-Dapaah, you mentioned that the way that we dispose of our liquid waste in the country is something that must be looked at. I found interestingly that only 3.9% of the population properly disposes of liquid waste. Knowing that, and this is a document that's available in your ministry, knowing that, what are the steps that your ministry is taking from your end? We know that the one house, one toilet policy was part of the National Sanitation Campaign, which the President launched in November 2017. So yes. What's being done in that direction?
Yes. Yes. These are what I put out, at least for Accra. And we are trying to get funding to replicate in the other capitals. We have institutional toilets and household toilets. Are patronizing, and for Accra, for instance, 1,200 toilets are churned out by Gamma, the Gamma project in homes. We also have UNICEF and the Netherlands government. They've put at the Apex Bank a fund onto, not if, home toilets in their house can access and pay over a spread of some months. And permit to build, you must have a toilet in the home. If we were abiding by those bylaws, like every home, every dwelling, every institution should have toilets, we wouldn't be talking about the deficit now. And I'm happy to announce that towns and villages are being declared open defecation free in areas in the Upper East and the Upper West and the Northern region. And we need to replicate them here, which we are doing through the community-led local sanitation program. This is the community-led approach. And the approaches are many that can resolve these problems. We have this Gamma project that produces the biodigesters in homes. We have a cluster of homes that can use the biodigester because of the space, limited space that they have at times in siting these toilets. And it's going on very, very well.
Okay.
So we need to encourage all of us to tap into that. That's why I'll be leading the team to go around areas that have low patronage to make sure we fix all those areas. And through this forum, I also want to appeal that all assemblies should make sure that these public toilets that are not practicing good hygiene should be closed down, because it will affect the health of our people. And if I have a toilet in my home, I wouldn't visit any public toilet to go and contract any disease. So the bottom line is to have in every home a place of convenience. That is
when
key.
do you reckon that we'll hit this target of having a toilet in every home?
We are collecting data as I speak. We've gotten the data from the greater Kumasi area. They need 80,000 toilets. And we are having conversations around the various models that we can use. We need to look at the homes, what is happening, the space that they have, etc., etc. So we've started collating, because we need data. I always talk about data. We are always quoting data, WHO, UNICEF. Ghana too must have its data.
Right.
Kumasi must have its data. Accra must have. Takoradi must have. Then we will go into the hinterland to collect our data. Without data, we cannot plan. Without data, we cannot even do any feasibility studies to make sure we need such an amount to do it. So we are on the right track.
We'd still like to know if you can give us a specific date as to when we can hit that target. But whilst you're at that, in 2017 October, we signed an MOU with the World Bank for the release of some $3 million for the Integrated Urban Environmental Sanitation Master Plan. Can you update us on where this money went and what has been achieved in this master plan so far?
I will give the details later. I'm not seized with the figures, so I will defer that. Thank you.
But are you able to tell us, even though we are gathering data, are you able to tell us when this one toilet, one household plan will be hit by election 2020, for instance? Are we able to hit that target?
I do not think, honestly, that should be the deadline. It should be throughout, if we exceed whatever we are doing, that each home should even have 2 or 3, that is another issue. But I cannot, as I sit here, give you that promise that by the end of 2020 we would have fixed in each home a toilet. I think that's a tall order. We'll try and do it. And as we move on, like on the 19th, I've invited you to be with me so that we are on the ground to explain. You know, that this traditional belief is, if I may use the word traditional, is there. People wonder. We've done some outreach, and some elderly person asked me, Honorable Minister, how can we sleep with toilet in our bedrooms? You know, because at the end of the day, it looks impossible. So, fortunately for us, the Ghana Water Ladies Club, on their 30th anniversary, had a few household toilets built, and this elderly person benefited. To let him know that it's the easiest and the best way to go, to have your toilet, your clean toilet, in your bedroom. And it's a joy to behold when people come on along with us and know that you can keep your toilet in your bedroom so clean that you can sit there and eat either your fufu or your kenke or your apple or your cocoa. So this is the message we send around. We all know what sanitation gives us. Sanitation gives us so much dignity. It's not what we see on our bodies that make us clean. It's how we live at home.
Right.
How we live and how we clean our toilets. There are places when you wouldn't even dare enter. Then we come to this question of cleanliness around. You know, I'm always advocating that we should not encourage ourselves to have these shallow gutters. Instead of that, let's build good drains, big drains that can carry our storm rains. Because these small gutters, I call them colonial relics. They cannot even contain the rainwater. And invariably, when the wind blows, it carries all the plastics inside. Because of the water in there, they get stuck. And when they are not cleaned, you have these choking gutters. And in some way, it contributes to some flooding. So I've also asked the municipalities to make sure they have a program to start cleaning. And some have done it. I've inspected. Some are on it to make sure the gutters are clean. And also, every business should have a bin. And every business should clean the space in front of the business as well as the drain. The small drain or small gutter is very, very important. So that other people can also come around and collect the small waste that they have generated and send them to the transfer station. This will create jobs. And I have also found out the cost per laborer by day. And I've relayed that to the assemblies to make sure the youth, the women, some of us who are not employed, gainfully employed, can go in and do this work.
Okay, Mr.
The homes,
we
every
want to
house should
wrap
have a
up
bin.
now,
That's
but before we go, if we can just briefly update us on this one, has the National Sanitation Fund been set up?
The National Sanitation Fund will be part of the National Sanitation Authority. The authority will have the fund to work with.
So again, are you able to leave us with a specific date or month that the authority will be set up?
No, because we have processes, as I told you, to spruce up the document, send it to cabinet, and then start the bill, etc. So it's quite a process, but we'll try to shorten the process legally, I should say. Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much, Cecilia.
If you have an input, we will have the forum and invite all of you.
Right, we will be excited and thrilled to join
again.
you. Thank you very much, Cecilia Abna-Dapaah, for joining us. She's Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. This is News Desk. My name is Daniel Dazi, and this is where we will end the bulletin.